Hey guys, God bless. This is part two, the heads, horns, and crowns. I just wanted to tighten up on a couple things. Should be a very short video. Just tighten up on a few things. I kind of left you hanging with what was the future kingdom, and so just a few things I wanted to add. When we talked last time in the last video, we talked about Revelation 12, how it's a time of separation. It's a time of separation of the two churches. Additionally, it's also the sixth seal. Okay, I believe I feel that wholeheartedly in my heart. Um, and one thing we talked about was Mystery Babylon, and we talked about the two churches, two different tribulations, and so two different birthing processes, and we talked about the harlot. And I'm going to ask you: do you think there's two harlots? Do you think there's a harlot for the church of Philadelphia, and do you think there's a harlot for the church of Smyrna? And I believe there is. I believe there is. And I didn't, I kind of thought it, but I really looked at it yesterday, and now it just kind of made sense. So, I'm learning as we're going here too. And the Lord just kind of showed me that as the Roman Catholic Church is the harlot for the Church of Philadelphia now, the harlot of Islam will be the harlot of the end time church, is what I'm trying to say. And so let's look at some scripture. We'll look at some things, and we'll talk about the last empire, which is going to be the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish Empire, which will rise. Um, so yeah, just a couple notes up here. Could the beast and the little horn, the beast being the country and the little horn being the king, also use the vehicle of Islam? Does Islam qualify as the harlot? Um, and we showed in the last video that there are two beasts, there's two churches with about two harlots. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to get into. The other is not yet come. Farmer fall. Remember, this is the angel talking to John, and the other is not yet come. And I think that kingdom that has not yet come was the future Ottoman Empire, and that's what we're going to kind of look at. Um, Keep in the back of your mind, I did a video about can the Ethiopian change his skin, about the leopard and the spotted leopard, and that being Obama. Can he change who he actually is? And I did a video, and I kind of made a case with circumstantial evidence that I believe they're the same person. And there's other videos out there, like you can look at his palm prints, and there's different things that other people have done as well. Um, and could he come back as the Mahdi? And I think what's going to happen is Obama will get shot in the head. All right, he'll receive the grievous head wound. He's going to come back as this guy, and which will be the Mahdi. Okay, and he will rise up, and he will remove three kings. Now, interesting enough, has Obama removed any kings from power for the first church, the Church of Philadelphia? Let's take a look at something. I did this document a while back as I was thinking of different things, and I was trying to put in modern times who the possible horns and heads could be. So some of this might be, we know England's the dragon. I showed you that in the other video. Babylon is America. Could Mubarak have been a removed horn, so that Sisi could have come in and taken his position? Also, you have Assad. Will he be a future removed horn? Could this happen on the day of the Lord? So that would be three, and then three more start over after the time of separation of Revelation 12. Was Gaddafi considered a horn? I don't know. But these are just possibilities, things that I'm throwing around. Um, I definitely could see this guy being removed, because if if Turkey and the Ottoman Empire are going to be the new beast system, this guy's in the boss's chair. So I believe the Mahdi could remove him. I definitely think this guy would be removed. But I'm throwing stuff out there. But anyway, just something to keep in mind as we do this. Remember, not no one knows all the answers. I definitely don't claim, but I'm just trying to put things together that I've seen and what's been led to me in the spirit when reading Revelation and Daniel. Um, so could that be the Mahdi that of Islam that we're looking for? Osama bin Laden coming back from the dead. Um, the legs of iron, I know I got a typo here. The legs of iron are generally thought to be the split Roman Empire. The Romans split after 330 AD and allowed Constantinople to become a sister capital, and the kingdom was split from east to west. The feet in the iron and clay are thought to be the coming tribulation. So let's look at Constantinople. It's also known as Istanbul in Turkey, which is their largest city. This is out of Wikipedia here, a little copy and paste. Uh, Home of the Latin Empire, the Roman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire. So this has got a history of empires around it. So the seven heads, remember they said the seven heads, seven countries, seven mountains, seven kingdoms, all right, which are the woman where she sits. Okay, remember this verse here. And the woman was drunk with the blood of saints and the blood of martyrs for Jesus Christ. When I saw her, I wondered in great admiration. Okay. Incidentally enough, Rome has seven hills. These are the seven hills of Rome. Okay, according to Wikipedia. And these are also seven hills of Istanbul. It's a little bit longer article here, but nonetheless, still seven hills. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I said both Catholicism and Islam are charged with killing many saints, from obvious examples like the Spanish Inquisition to not so obvious, probably in abortion support. Up front, they probably condemn abortion, but I think behind the scenes, they're definitely with it. Remember, we talked about the Queen of England a little bit with the last video and how she's reptilian. The draconian bloodline obviously needs blood and innocent flesh, which is just absolutely disgusting. But anyway, so I guarantee these people are behind this. But in the public, they put on a nice show. Hey, we're condemning this. It's all a bunch of garbage. Or just the simple fact that they're wolves in sheep's clothing, and they're leading the sheep to their death. So they're responsible for the death of saints. However you want to look at that verse, they have blood on their hands. Just as a watchman who doesn't sound the alarm has blood on his hands. The Roman Catholic Church definitely has much blood on their hands of saints. Now I know about the Crusades and everything else, but of saints, there's also a lot of blood on their hands. Um, we know they've been charged with exploiting children and women, people who can't fend for themselves. Islam, it's obviously a bit more obvious. I mean, convert or die is definitely their motif, and also the torture and everything, the horrible things that are going along with it. So yeah, I think you can have both of these as a mystery Babylon, and that's what the Lord told me a long time ago. Was people get so wrapped up with what they perceive as they read one thing and that's it. They get a closed mind, and He's not able to work with that type of person because their mind is I read that, that's what it says, and that's it, done. But when you open up your mind and you allow the Lord to work with you and work with your spirit and your heart, He shows more. And that's the whole church thing. I never really thought about it, and then I'm like, well, as you think about that, it really makes a lot more sense. Um, it definitely reads a lot easier, at that point. And He shows you another layer, and then if you open to that, boom, He'll show you another layer. So anyway, that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. But um, they both have innocent blood on their hands, and this innocent blood of saints. Now, I'm by no means an expert on Islam. I have no idea exactly what they believe, but I know this guy, Walid Shubat, definitely was a converted Muslim. And he writes in this article here a lot of different things. It's kind of sad because he has a closed mind, because he says the use of mother of all harlots is attributed to the Vatican, when in reality it's really about Islam. And I think they're both, open your eyes to both, definitely is what I would tell him. I think they both can be. Anyway, so he talks about the Queen of Harlots originated in Arabia, not Rome. And he gives these little snippets here. The throwback to Ishtar or worship, and she has the color purple associated with her. When it comes to the harlot woman, Kaaba is a perfect match. The black tarp is considered by Muslims to be a woman's dress. Um, and It's also, the harlot is described, and it fits the Kaaba dress in pearls, gold. The blasphemies are etched in silver threads with golden inlays across her attire, across the doors. The doors alone are 280 kilograms of gold. I pulled up a picture here real quick um, of those doors, which I thought were quite interesting. Very beautiful, but you know, obviously not of our God, so they're worthless actually. But anyway, he makes a case here for the harlot being Islam. The Kaaba was dedicated to Aphrodite, the prostitute goddess, adorned in purple was her color. Talks about Abraham having intercourse with Hagar on top of that black stone. Uh, Disgusting. And he goes on with some verses here. You know, it talks about how the Arab will pitch his no tent there. Um, and real quick, before I get too deep into this here, let's look at something real quick. This is Revelation 18, okay? And this is about the city Babylon. Now, when you read this and you're going through it, um, Babylon has fallen. Everyone's always saying this is New York City. And I don't doubt that it's New York City. Okay, what I doubt is that it's limited to New York City. There was a prophecy. I can't remember if it was a prophecy I saw a long time ago, but it talked about the destruction of Babylon. He goes, it was New York, but it was also Mecca. It was also there's a I think Bushwar in Iran, and there's all these different cities that were destroyed. Rome was another one, all destroyed simultaneously with fire. And if you take some of these verses, they can go with all those places. So don't limit yourself in thinking um, just because this isn't plural, okay, right here, um, then it's limited to one city. Mecca definitely can fit all this. It's a port city. And not only is it a port city, imagine if it got hit by a nuke, it would shut down that whole canal. Now you can pull up a map, pull up where Mecca is, and it's pretty close to the coast. And if it were to get hit with nuclear weapons, um, and it would probably come from Iran because Iran is against Saudi Arabia, then you would definitely have some trade issues and oil issues, which would go back to your seal about the oil and the wine. But anyway, just something I wanted to show you there real quick that don't limit yourself in scripture, guys. Um, the He goes on. I'm not going to read all this. You can kind of scroll through it. Definitely makes a case for it. It talks about the he takes different verses from Arabia, which it goes to Kedar, the glory of Kedar, which is Mecca, will be destroyed. So he goes back and forth there. But just take a look at those, see what you think. Um, yeah, right here. If you look at the map, Mecca's near the Red Sea. Some say Jeremiah 49 is speaking about Edom, which is primarily located in modern day Jordan. So he don't limit yourself, okay? Don't limit yourself. Okay, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sit are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. It really goes without saying that Islam is growing at an alarming rate. So, um, can this go to Catholicism? Absolutely. The whole world, a lot of Catholics in the whole wide world. But the fastest growing religion right now is Islam. It's the fastest growing religion in the whole world. Okay, so it's taken over Africa. I mean, it's in the United States. It's going like crazy. So anyway, that verse can fit. And I didn't cherry pick verses. I mean, go back and look for yourself and see which ones would fit. They actually all would fit. So again, I ask you, two churches, two harlots. I think so. The question I have is, when will the second harlot be destroyed? That I'm unclear on. I'm not sure if that will be at the closing of the church of the beast system. Once everyone is marked, once everyone is changed, will they then destroy it? Then he will no longer need that harlot. I don't know, but I think it's interesting. I do suspect the Catholic Church will be destroyed, and that will be on the day of separation. And then the Mahdi will obviously rise up from the scene at that point. with all the lying signs and wonders to ignite Islam, the new church, all right, into a religion beyond recognition. Okay, fear, control, and bondage is Islam. Fear, control, and bondage. And what God's doing with it. Okay, and ultimately, remember, this is His plan. What He's doing is He's driving people to make a decision, and that's what it's all about. We've had all this time of grace to make a decision. And, those who are wishy washy or those who are lost, but yet, well, there might be a God. Okay, he's going to put them in the valley of decision, and they're going to have to make that decision to decide because this is going to run rampant. And you're either going to fall for the lie, which is Islam and the Mark and the Mahdi and all the BS that goes along with it, excuse me, or you're going to be driven to make the decision to follow Christ. And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy to take the mark and join the eternal life with heaven. Then, I suppose, at that point, once God has driven everyone to decision to their final decision, then it will probably be destroyed, and there will be no longer no need for it anyway. Everyone will be marked and ready to go, or with God. So this was a neat little just a poster I saw. The new world order is all about resurrection, rising again. It's the Ottoman Empire is what it's going to be. The 10 horns will come out of that head, or will join on that head. Now, does this mean Erdogan is the little horn? No, I'm quite sure that he is not one of the horns. I'm sure, or he will be plucked, is what I'm seeing. He's sitting in the boss's chair. Remember, he's going to rise up. Okay, the little horn will rise up in all of this chaos. Okay, um, and his ascension uh, to the world power, 3 horns will be removed during his ascension. Okay, just like Obama's ascension, if that's true, we had those 2 possibly removed. Gaddafi, I think he was with Libya, so I don't even know if he was one of the countries or not, but I definitely think Mubarak was his name, I think, could be one of them. Okay, just something to keep an eye on. I firmly believe, like I said, Obama, Osama are one and the same. Obama will switch roles, okay, from where he is now to the Mahdi. He'll come back from the dead or out of the sea, uh, just as like a false Christ, a mocking to Christ of rising from the dead is what he will do. Um, Kind of interesting here. The Ottoman Empire was started by this guy named Osman, which I mean goes right along with all these names that we have. Um, and he was to start the empire, so he's a descendant. Now this was kind of a quick little blurb here. He's part of this tribe, which comes from the Oghuz Turkish people, which are descendants of Magog, which align themselves, of course, with Satan. So I just thought that was an interesting tie-in. You have Osman from this tribe, which is tied to these type of people, which go back to Gog and Magog. End of days, Gog and Magog, but not necessarily the end of the world. Jewish eschatology viewed Gog and Magog as enemies to be defeated by the Messiah, Ben Joseph, which will usher in the new age of the Messiah. Christianity's interpretation is more starkly apocalyptic, making Gog and Magog allies with Satan against God at the millennium. Weird dream Osman had. Um, he was at a sheik's house, had a dream, and it was with his girlfriend or wife, whatever. My sheik, I saw you in a dream. A moon appeared on your breast. It rose and descended into my breast. From my navel there sprang a tree. It grew and branched out so much that the shadow of its branches covered the whole world. This could be the rising of the Ottoman Empire, the moon god. Um, a dream that would fulfill the end of the day. So the Ottoman Empire didn't dominate the whole world. However, this dream alludes to the moon religion, which is Satan, of course, the lesser light, to dominate the world. It's pretty obvious, I believe, that the Ottoman Empire will be the last kingdom, and the little horn, Osama bin Laden, will return with all the lion signs and wonders to run the whole show. He will ignite Islam, Okay, now just as the kingdom we talked about yesterday, the kingdom being of flesh and metal, iron and clay, right? Showed you that little video. I believe he is going to come back similar. Okay, and I might be wrong on all this, but remember he was shot in the left eye. You know, they made a big deal about saying he was shot in the left eye. You know, why didn't the news just say he was shot in the head? You know, why does it have to be he was shot in the left eye? So I expect if he comes back, and if this is all true, what I'm saying, that if he comes back, that he's going to have a flesh type metal body, and he will have, you know, a I know this sounds all far fetched, but you know, it's kind of what I'm seeing. It's what I'm feeling in my spirit. But he'll have some sort of mechanical eye. He'll have some sort of special powers. You know, he's going to have aliens with him. So you know, this is all going to be a big theatrical show. The Bible speaks of a grievous red wound that was healed. Obama will probably get shot sometime during the separation, and will perform false miracle of returning as Osama 3 days later. Conjectures. That's all they are is conjectures. But I feel that I have a pretty good case for them. Why would the whole world wonder? The whole world will wonder. Coming back from the dead. I will be like the Most High, Satan says. Anyway. Now, Daniel, when you look at Daniel 7, it almost talks about all the horns coming out of one head, the 10 horns that were in his head. Okay. So you don't see that in Revelation. Okay. You see them separate heads, separate kingdoms. But here in Daniel, you see them united. And this is talking about that kingdom, all right, the iron and clay kingdom. So those heads have come together and have formed one kingdom. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out to you, so that you know when you see this, it's not a surprise. The 10 horns that were in his head, which the other came up and 3 fell. The horn had eyes, and you know, in the mouth that spoke very great things, which we know that what that means. So that's what I said. The horns are on head. You don't see this in Revelation. Uh, it's time of separation, and then the beast comes out of the sea. Then Babylon falls. Okay, and that's probably where the unity will come in. Is after the fall of Babylon, all those cities being destroyed. That's when the unity will come in. Because it says right here, 10 horns out of this kingdom are the 10 kings that shall arise, and the other shall rise after them, and he shall be the first from the first. So that's kind of how I see that scripture taking place. So they're all separate. They all had crowns. You have the time of separation, the dragon. You have the beast out of the sea, the destruction of Babylon in the next chapter, which are the cities, and then boom, this happens. Now this is all going to happen, I believe, in rapid succession. I don't know how fast, but very rapid, I believe. Okay, and he'll remove those 3 kings as he rises. So that's pretty much it, guys. One thing I would caveat, and I didn't touch on it in these videos, and if God gives me more time, which I don't think we have much of, but if He gives me more time, then I will do a Revelation, or I'm sorry, a Daniel 8 study, which is kind of talking about Alexander, but it kind of paints a picture of how the beast will rise, and it's going to mirror, I believe, Alexander, in the goat and the ram. You got the 4 horns that come out, which are the 4 generals that came out of Alexander and took pieces of land. I can't name them right now, but Ptolemy, Seleucus, I believe, Cassandra, and that one guy with a big long name. Anyway, so anyway, I believe that the little horn, when he rises to power, is going to be simply like that war. It's going to be a short, powerful, devastating war, but very quick and when it's over, he's going to rise. He's going to come out of it. Okay, he's going to come out of it at that time. So you have, just a recap: time of separation, Revelation 12, beast out of the sea, next chapter, and then the next chapter after that, you have the cities falling. After the cities fall, he will rise. They'll all come together, and in his rise, 3 will be removed. And then Daniel 8 will paint the picture of the actual conflict, I believe, how the king of the north, king of the south, It's stuff I'd have to look at. I haven't got into, but that's where the fight is, I believe, the Revelation or Daniel 8. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. God bless. I hope it blesses you and gives you understanding. Take care and love one another.